Previously on the Advent Calendar House. Whew. Welcome to the world of tomorrow! Is July already? No, it's April. Come, your destiny awaits! No, it doesn't. I'm like 3 months early. I'm gonna go back in here. I'll talk to y'all in July. Later.
Come on and sit a spell. We've got stories and jokes to tell. It's gonna be a great Noel. It's the Advent Calendar House. Muppets, Batman, Smurfs, and even Garfield's Halloween. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane. Frosty, Rudolph, and a bunch you've probably never seen. It's Mike and pals that come to entertain. Turn the knob and lift the latch for fun and laughs that can't be matched. But just beware the icy patch. It's the Advent Calendar House.
Welcome to the Advent Calendar House, the podcast that's awoken after what feels like 1,000-year slumber and is wondering what the dang heck happened to the world. Thank y'all for coming back after my stupid April Fool's joke, and as both of a token of my gratitude and an apology, we're going to kick off this season of Christmas and other assorted holidays in July by freezing ourselves till it's the year 3000 and treating your shiny metal ears with not one, but two festive Xmas episodes of Futurama. I am one of those lazy homeless bums I've been hearing about, Mike Westfall. And wow, is this cryogenic pod crowded today. Let's see who's here. First, he's the father of all lies and the uncle of all tricks. It's Donnie Storms. Hey, Donnie.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me. My apologies. We will have to make this quick. My dog is patiently waiting for me to pick her up outside of a non-chain pizza joint.
Yeah.
No.
Well, right out of the gate. Also, here is the sweet flower of the podcast. It's Michael DiGiovanni. Hello, Dijo.
Hey, Mike. I also will have to make this a little quick tonight because I'm going to be performing at the Andromeda Chuckle Hut after this.
Oh, can't wait. Next is the recently voted Orphan of the Year, but don't tell her parents that. It's Erin Evans. Hi, Erin.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here.
Oh, good. Better than I am. Somebody threw a bike at me.
Oh, no. And it's everyone's favorite blue-feathered giant chicken lawyer, Joey O. Hey, Joey.
Oh, good to see all of you, especially because I thought you all were corn.
I love that guy.
Thank you all for being here. I'm excited to talk about this pair of episodes. Futurama has a very special place in my heart. I guess I should clarify. Today we are covering Xmas Story from 1999, and then next episode we'll all be back to talk about A Tale of Two Santas from 2001. But first, I want to hear about your own histories with the show and these Xmas episodes in particular. So let us start with Erin.
I watched it as it aired. I was always a Simpsons fan, and I don't know anything about Ren and Stimpy, so it really doesn't matter to me who voiced anybody in The Simpsons or on Futurama, so that was not a draw for me. I didn't have cable, so Fox aired. There was one time where Bender said "bite my shiny metal," and then Janet Reno interrupted it about Elian Gonzalez. So I never found the end of that episode until I was an adult. So.
Wow. That's how you date a show.
Yeah, so I always liked Futurama. I don't think my dad usually likes the same things that I do, but he always found this stupid. But we use this as our reception. Like
The Futurama theme. Then.
Yeah, the Futurama theme we used as like coming into our actual reception hall for like the bridal party.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
But we watch all the stuff. We watch when it was rebooted again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched Futurama when it started on Fox, but I did not keep up with the 8 million time slot changes and cancellations and coming back. So there's definitely a few episodes I've never seen, and a lot of them I saw, in reruns over the years, like way later. I don't know. I definitely don't remember seeing. Maybe I did see this one at first aired, first episode, but probably not the other one until later at some point.
I know you didn't see the ones where they were movies, but they cut them into 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Donnie, how about you?
So I remember watching the first one when it aired. I remember it being a big deal because it was still, Simpsons were still relevant. And unfortunately, they were canceled, 3 or 4 seasons? No, 20 seasons ago, they were canceled. They did not make it past season 10 or 11, right? No. I remember it being a big deal because it was from Matt Groening. And after watching that first episode, at the time, I don't think it really clicked with me. And I went off to college, and I didn't watch a whole lot of TV in college, mostly played video games and hung out on the internet. As an adult, I ended up hanging out with people who watched it and new episodes. And so I kind of tangentially picked up an episode here or there. It's one of those things where I've been told so many times to watch it, and I'm contrarian. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. Leave me alone. And one friend in particular has been bugging me to do it. So when I told her we were doing these, she was like, you have to watch these with me. So I know a lot of the jokes, like the meme jokes, the ones that everyone knows. And I know several of the landmark episodes. But overall, this was kind of, I won't say it was my first exposure to Futurama, but it was like maybe my 20th or 30th exposure to Futurama, which is not that many.
Wow, yeah. Dejo, how about you?
So like the choir here, I remember watching the first episode on Fox. It was a big deal that the Simpsons creator had another show and that it was sci-fi. But I have watched it all. I have followed them through every death and rebirth and platform change and, direct to DVD to Comedy Central. And I've watched even all the new Hulu seasons now. I'm a huge fan of Futurama, and I must say that death rebirth whole element I think has only added to the mystique of Futurama. So much so that I think it's been now woven into the meta narrative of the show, which I think they have a lot of fun with. But yes, I'm a huge fan of Futurama, and these episodes, they're all the Futurama holiday specials I watch every year.
Yeah, maybe not every year for me, but it's pretty close. So this might be the first show I started personally taping off the TV for myself. At this point, I'm 18 years old, and I realized, I need to start my own collection of stuff that I want to watch later. And when that pilot aired, it was just before DVDs became mainstream. So I remember being so excited about this new Matt Groening cartoon that I made sure to record it. It was event television. Then they did start putting out entire seasons on DVD a few years later, and I decided, well, the heck with taping them myself. And to that end, Futurama is also the first series I binged with my now wife.
Oh, wow.
And I guess the pilot counts as a New Year's episode, but I'm not doing that. I only care about the robot holiday mascots.
Yeah.
You did just make me realize, though, Mike, that we now have kids who are watching these, who would watch these Futurama episodes in the same vein that we watched Rudolph and Frosty, and now I feel ancient, and oh no, I've turned into dust.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So let's start with our first holiday episode, Xmas Story, which officially, according to my DVD set, is episode 4 of season 2. But if you want to stream this, it's on Hulu as episode 8, because Hulu sorts things by air date, and Fox aired these way out of their intended order. Like, even the breakdown of seasons, it's weird. If you look at the air dates, season 1 has a break in the middle of it over the summer, ends in November, and then season 2 starts the very next week. So as far as Hulu cares, season 2 starts after that summer break, so everything gets pushed back. Anyway, season 2, episode 8 on Hulu in the US and Disney Plus internationally. Xmas Story premiered December 19th, 1999, a Sunday night on Fox, immediately after the Simpsons episode Grift of the Magi.
Oh.
What you talking about, everyone?
That's a great one.
And it was also the last episode of Futurama to air at 8:30 right after The Simpsons. Fox moved it to 7 after that to make room for some new show called Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh.
Never heard of it.
I don't know. And after moving to 7, the ratings plummeted, and that's why Fox canceled it after 4 seasons.
I feel like that might be why it never connected with me, because I'm very much a creature of habit, and I like to do things when I'm supposed to do things.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moving around was just like, okay, they can't be bothered to commit to this. Why should I?
I think you're right, Donnie, is that I think that's probably what isolated a lot of people. And the longer that has happened, as we've touched on, being like, okay, now there's DVDs. So if you're interested, buy those movies. And then, oh, wait, Comedy Central. It, in a way, fostered a really rabid fan base, even though it might have been small because of the way that they operated. I think it's created this really loyal group because we've had to seek them out. We've had to follow them to all ends of space.
Yeah.
And whenever they start messing with people's time slots like that, I feel like they're trying to force it out. You know? Like if they move you from say like Friday at 9 to Sunday at 8 or wherever it is, if it's like Wednesday at 7, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
But whenever a network starts doing that, I worry that they're trying to force whatever it is I'm trying to find out.
Oh, it's like the death spasms of a show.
Oh, yeah.
When it starts bouncing around days and time slots, for sure.
And that was very emblematic of what Fox was doing in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I know the meme is Firefly and Dollhouse. Both of those shows, Joss Whedon shows, were just absolutely ruined by Fox not being able to commit to them. And I feel like Futurama doesn't get credit enough in that same circle because I feel like the same thing happened to them, and maybe they don't get that same credit because they did find a second life, whereas those shows didn't. But man, Fox just did them no favors.
Yeah, to that end, Xmas Story was the last Futurama episode to get over 10 million viewers. But let's get into it. And first, I have to mention the credit gags. The opening caption for this says, based on a true story. You know, Christmas.
I love the opening line. I love the opening tag. I love all that.
Oh, they're always great. Yeah. I love the opening tag. I love trying to figure out what old cartoon is playing that the...
I know what it is, though.
Yeah, for this one, it is Fresh Hair. It's Elmer Fudd popping his head out of a pile of snow that's stuck to his face like a Santa beard. It's a Bugs Bunny cartoon from 1942. And then we open with Conan O'Brien's head.
Yes.
The fresh stylings of Conan O'Brien.
Performing live at the Catskills Ski Lounge, where a sign informs us children under 90 are admitted free.
This was a fun bit that Futurama did to be able to have celebrity guest stars, and it's so silly, but I love the head and jar bit that they did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part about this entire opening is the fact that Conan is doing jokes about the year 2000.
Year 2000.
Exactly. And so he's doing these jokes as like a callback to the fact that he does jokes about the year 2000. Even when they were past the year 2000, he was doing those jokes.
Yes.
He's still doing them in the year 3000.
Yep.
So, people are getting pretty worried about this Y2K problem, huh?
No, they fixed that 900 years ago.
Just bear with me, sir. Anyway, I'm walking to work this morning.
I doubt it.
He's talked about that too on the podcast. Like they were like, well, we got past 2000. Should we update it? Should we change it to another year? Should we change it to like the something vague? And they're like, no, it's already such a dumb, silly bit. Let's just keep it as the year 2000 in like 2005 or whatever. People are going to get it.
I mean, I don't know anybody else who does that, so. I like that Conan is wearing a necktie over the bottom rim of the jar. That's my favorite part of this.
It's like draped over the stool.
Yeah. That, and he asks Max Weinberg to play him over, and we pan to Max's head, which is just a skull floating in a jar in front of a drum set because someone forgot to feed him. This is Conan's first appearance on this podcast, I think.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There's a few first appearances of voice actors this episode, including John DiMaggio as Bender.
Wow.
That's
I'm
surprising.
a little surprised that John DiMaggio hasn't appeared in any special that you've covered yet.
Yet, yeah, I mean,
He's pretty prolific.
he is pretty prolific. I just haven't run into him on any of the specials I've done yet. For the unfamiliar, you may have also heard John DiMaggio as Jake the Dog on Adventure Time and Aquaman on Batman the Brave and the Bold, among many, many, many other things.
I just saw him in an episode of the already canceled Paramount Plus Frasier reboot, actually.
Oh, was he on Frasier?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did he look as much like a WWE superstar Sheamus there as he does?
Oh, wow.
Dang it. That is so accurate.
I never put that together.
I'm not going to be able to unsee that now.
Sorry, I've ruined John DiMaggio for everyone. Or made him better.
Or enhancing, yeah. But enough of that pointless opening. Let's go skiing with the entire Planet Express staff, who apparently vacationed together. It's not a work trip. They just all wanted to go to the ski resort.
Maybe they got a group rate.
Oh, maybe. I was going to say, I don't think I've ever traveled with coworkers that wasn't a work trip.
It's a bad idea. Don't do that.
Okay, noted.
Well, their whole thing is travel, so.
It's such a sitcom trope, though,
It
right?
is,
That
yeah.
the main cast will go, we're going on vacation, but Larry, the guy that lives upstairs, and the landlords, the Ropers, are also on the trip. Like,
Closest I've ever come to that was I used to work with past and future guest Andre Bennett, and we went to a con in Baltimore together, but while we were working together, but that doesn't count. That's all I got. We went to Baltimore and we had big fun. Anyway, skiing, and Fry, our hero from the 20th century, notes,
This snow is beautiful. I'm glad global warming never happened.
Actually, it did. But thank God nuclear winter canceled it out.
so at least we have that to look forward to.
That's next week, right?
It might be. Life finds a way. Fry is voiced by Billy West. Joey, do you remember the last time we talked about Billy West?
Oh, I know we talked about Billy West because I got into his career and how, you know, he had substance abuse issues and his breakthrough was with Howard Stern, but I don't remember what we were talking about him with now.
As the announcer on the Weird Al Show.
Oh, yes.
And Leela is voiced by Katie Seagal, who, honestly, I got so invested in Futurama that I associate her more now with Leela than I do as Peg Bundy.
Wow.
I as well. Like that has passed a long time ago for me.
Yeah.
That's really funny because as I was watching these episodes last night to get my last few notes in, my mom walks in and goes, "Is that Peg?" Doesn't know her name. Doesn't care. She's just Peg.
They're about equal for me, but I do know I've never watched Sons of Anarchy, but people who watch that associate her more with that.
And of course, I appreciate the fact that, spoiler alert, there's a tie here in that now she's married on TV. She's playing the new wife on The Connors.
Is she?
Yes,
Oh.
she plays Dan Connor's new wife.
Wow.
Who may or may not show up in this episode later.
Oh, wow.
She's like a rock star traveling with like I say rock star very loosely. She travels with a band. They play like state fairs or whatever.
I mean, Katie Seagal's got a few albums.
Major upgrade from Roseanne there, Dan Connor.
Somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that was a thing, but we don't watch The Connors, so.
No, but there's a Married with Children Christmas episode I'll get to eventually, but.
Oh, I love Married with Children. You don't even understand. Like, I would tape that when I was little.
Noted. I'll remember
Misogyny
that.
and all.
Let's get to the rest of the Planet Express crew out of the way. This part of the episode's just give everyone a skiing joke so they have something to do.
I loved all of these gags, by the way.
Oh, they're all great.
Yeah.
Billy West also voices Fry's distant nephew and Planet Express's owner, Professor Farnsworth, as well as Dr. Zoidberg.
Come on, everyone. Perhaps some skiing will help us forget the moldy old antics of Conan O'Brien.
Yeah. Great idea.
Can only hope.
Arguably the best character on the show.
Oh, love Zoidberg.
Yeah, I think Zoidberg's my favorite character on Futurama.
Oh, it's. I don't think it's even close. I don't think there's any arguably about it.
No.
I will say here, though, my favorite bit, because you did note, Mike, that they all get skiing bits. My favorite bit here is the professor sleeping while he's skiing and still somehow winning bronze because. Is the Orange Cassidy? Like, what are we doing here?
I just love Hermes slowly falling off of the bobsled.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You a bobsledder? That I'd like to see.
Listen, you filthy crab. 1,000 years ago, there was a legendary team of Jamaican bobsledders.
Yep, I remember. They came in last at the Olympics, then retired to promote alcoholic beverages.
A true inspiration for the children.
Hermes is the company accountant voiced by Phil Lamar, last heard on this podcast as Green Lantern on Justice League.
I will say the first time I heard Hermes in this episode, was where I noticed that, this episode is old now because it sounded like Hermes, but a little unformed. Like it's like he still hadn't really developed the voice yet. It felt like prototypical or prototype voice for Hermes. It's not saying it sounded bad, but it was the only one where I kind of noted it sounded dated.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hermes in particular takes a while to develop for some reason. I'm not sure, but not bad.
No, but I think we're a season away from that one big Hermes episode with the whole bureaucracy.
Love that.
Oh, that's such a great episode. Jamaica. And we have the company's intern, Amy, voiced by Lauren Tom.
You poor man. What happened to you?
Well, there I was on the Triple Diamond Slope when suddenly...
Oh, excuse me. Hello there.
Haven't talked about her yet. She was also Connie and her mother on King of the Hill, and Terry's girlfriend Dana on Batman Beyond.
And she was on Friends, I believe, at one point. She has a lot of credits.
Oh,
in front of the camera and voice acting.
But does anyone have a favorite joke in this first few minutes of skiing bits?
Other than Hermes just slowly turning upside down.
No, it's definitely for me. It's the professor falling asleep and doing it because it did remind me so much of pre-AEW Orange Cassidy, where he would fall asleep in the middle of matches and still somehow win. And now he's slowly transformed into I just don't care. But back in the day, there was a whole bit where he would fall asleep during matches. So to me, that was my favorite bit because if they could tie to pro wrestling, of course, it's going to be my favorite.
I never thought of the professor as being sloth style.
No one's ever compared Orange Cassidy and Professor Farnsworth.
No, that is a first.
That's because he's lost all his hair. Before, when he had that little tuft on top, then that's where the orange is. But.
I mean, I guess if you color in his spectacles black.
Oh, yeah, like sunglasses.
It's also reminds me of the classic Goofy
Art of Skiing.
Sports.
Yes.
Art of Skiing is the best.
I can't believe I didn't make that connection, but that's exactly where that's from.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Oh, God. That was the first thing I watched on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. Nice. Mine has to be Bender snowboarding off the trail, not caring, falling off a cliff, and then we cut to a frozen pond of kids skating like at the beginning of a Charlie Brown Christmas until Bender falls out of the sky through the ice and takes all the children with him.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, they're all okay, probably.
I love everybody's hats. Like a lot of them are jester hats. I'm not sure why, but they're cute.
No, I actually noted here. I love Bender's hat, and I want one. Anybody knits or crochets or whatever? and they want to put a hat in the mail that looks like that to me.
I made a brain slug once.
Any of your listeners know?
Get in touch with me and I'll get you in touch with them.
Yeah.
And make 2, because that sounds amazing. But we find everyone back at the ski lodge sitting around a fire pit, and Fry casually says it really puts you in the Christmas spirit, and Professor asks,
Whatmas? Christmas. You know, Xmas.
Oh, you mean Xmas. You must be using an archaic pronunciation, like when you say ask instead of axe.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question.
which is a dumb little joke, but it turns out axe is the archaic variant of the word. The Old English verb was axian, A-C-S-I-A-N, and some Old English sources have shortened that to axe, including Chaucer and the first complete English translation of the Bible.
Dang. Without fail, you come on the Advent Calendar House and you learn some junk.
There you go.
I mean, if it was good enough for Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll show up later.
Did Jesus also call them libraries by chance?
I don't know. That didn't come up in this episode, so I didn't look it up, but probably. But Fry laments that it's his first Xmas away from home, so to cheer him up, Leela takes him to cut down an Xmas tree. So we cut to a palm tree covered in snow, because pine trees apparently go extinct sometime around 2200, possibly due to time travelers running over them.
Right.
There's a,
Happy Back to the Future Day.
You did it.
That's one.
there's another episode about Christmas about the pine trees.
Oh, yeah.
They have the seeds in Norway? Sweden.
But between the pine trees being on and Leela chopping down a palm tree with her laser axe, an actual axe this time, Fry's upset that this isn't the way Christmas is supposed to be. But we fly back to Planet Express in New York, where it's Xmas Eve, still December 24th in the year 3000. I'm impressed. They kept that pretty steady for that long.
And Mike, here we are, another Christmas special, and we have people decorating a tree on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Listen, my mom's family, her parents, with their 4 kids, somehow Santa didn't just bring presents. Santa brought the tree and decorated the tree as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of like that.
You wouldn't if you were my mom's mom.
Well, no, okay, I like the concept. I don't think I'd like to do that in practice.
No.
But no, Santa did everything.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Like the Grinch Santa. He's like, no, I do that. Santa in my house, put tinsel on the tree.
Oh, that's cool.
So it woke up and the tree was all shiny.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I know this was a tradition years and years ago that you would trim the tree on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And I understand we have to show the characters doing something. But it is to note, you cover so many of these that it always happens, that you have to have a moment on Christmas Eve. It can't be December 22nd.
No.
Christmas Eve, let's decorate.
Yeah.
It's either that or it's Thanksgiving night. So
we usually do it on Thanksgiving or the week of Thanksgiving. My kids have the whole week of Thanksgiving off.
Oh, wow.
So that's when we do it at some point in there.
I'm just saying in TV, it's either or.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there are people out there that definitely that's a Christmas Eve thing.
All right. Well, more power to you. It's a nice little tradition. If you can keep that up for this long, then that now becomes a special tradition for you and your family. So that makes that even better for the ones who are still holding on to that. But Bender singing "Oh Xmas Tree." Amy attempts to put the star on top of the very tall palm tree using a rocket pack, but hits her head on the ceiling and flies out of control. And Fry's still upset because Christmas just makes him think of everything he left behind in the 20th century. He says, let's stop talking about Xmas, right before Hermes walks in with the mail shouting, Happy Xmas, Xmas people, Xmas cards!
Xmas!
hands them all out. Bender gets the most, including one from his mom, not capital M mom, but a robotic arm that builds bending robots.
That was a nice touch. I like that.
To my 1,729th son. Which I found out that number shows up a lot in Futurama. But this is the first. 1729 is special because it is the smallest number expressible as the sum of two cubes in two different ways. They call that a taxi cab number because two mathematicians were discussing it in a taxi in the year 1919. One thought it was a boring number. The other noted, no, it's this thing. And Futurama is written by a whole bunch of math nerds. So
yeah, I do know that at the time it was like it was also a different kind of animation that nobody had done before, where it used 3D models as well and a lot of math.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Yeah. I forget that that's one of the first like regular running cartoon shows to do that. But now I remember, seeing that first episode.
So if you follow like even especially in the opening credits or when the ship like gets out of its hangar and then like turns around and pivots and then you follow it for a while, it's really evident.
And you see it a lot in this episode with Santa's sleigh too. Both of these. I do like Zoidberg's card from his cousin who drew a picture of a little cartoon lobster in a Santa hat. Instead of claws, he writes claws. That's humorous.
Conan could learn something.
And his name is Santa Claus.
I think the thing that gives me the most hope from watching this episode is that terrible puns are clearly the height of comedy. Everyone laughs at them. And that gives me hope that, maybe I'm just like out of place. Maybe my brain of humor really belongs in the year 3000.
Born too early.
I'm just ahead of my time.
Yes.
Fall into a cryogenic vat. You'll be fine.
There you go. And Hermes delivers the last Xmas card to the sweet flower of the office, me, Hermes Conrad. Leaving only Leela with nothing, so she sadly walks out of the room, grabs an old photo album labeled Happy Memories, and we see her flip through not happy memories. Just a orphanage group photo, and she's off by herself. Senior prom couples photo of just herself with her arm outstretched around no one. Baby Leela on top of a pile of junk labeled abandoned property. Even when it's supposed to be tugging at your heartstrings, and when it actually does tug at your heartstrings, Futurama's always been good at making me laugh by kicking characters when they're down.
And then there are some, it's like you try not to cry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And for the cherry on top of the sadness sundae, she walks back into the other room where Fry's also still bummed out, and he asks, hey, Leela, how about a little sympathy here? And that sends her crying out of the room. And Fry doesn't understand what that's about. Amy has to explain Leela's an orphan. We knew she was the last of her kind as far as Leela knows, but I think this might be the first time her childhood at the orphanaria is pictured or referenced, so that's something.
Yeah, I don't know what season it is when they reveal she's a mutant and we get into all that stuff, but that's a while later.
I think that's season 4. That's toward the end of the Fox run.
Yeah, it's not for a while.
Yeah.
Like the first couple seasons, you fully believe she's a solitary alien with no one else.
Yeah.
Actually, you even have an episode where she meets up with a very Al Bundy-like guy who convinces her that he's the only other alien of her kind.
So now Fry feels terrible, but right before they cut to commercial, Bender comes in to try and cheer him up, just going, look at me, look, beat-up-a-poo, ba-da-dee-da-poo.
That's perfect, thank you.
And that causes Fry to burst into tears, and that makes me laugh every time. He's like, oh, I gotta work on my act.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The 1999 Hess truck and space shuttle are here.
Soaring into the new millennium with lights and sound straight out of Mission Control. Retractable bay doors that activate the satellite launcher. And it's blast off to Hess stations where the shuttle is landed for $19.99, Energizer batteries included.
Countdown is near. The Hess truck is here.
Happy holidays from Hess.
Coming soon to a pair of ears near your brain. An exciting new achievement in podcasting. It's colossal. It's stupendous. It's cartoons.
Hello, all you happy people.
Hi, I'm JD from toughpigs.com, and I'd like to invite you to join me on my exploration of classic cartoons. It's called Stick to Shorts, because that's what I'm doing. Each episode is devoted to one of the animated shorts from Hollywood's golden age.
This is an animated cartoon.
These are the cartoons that gave us Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, and countless other stars from acclaimed directors like Chuck Jones, Tex Avery, and Bob Clampett, and game-changing producers like Max Fleischer and Walt Disney. I'll be chatting with friends about the context of these shorts, where they sit in animation history, and sometimes there might be some academic film criticism thrown in there. Mostly, though, it's fun conversation about silly things, and it sounds a little something like this.
This network doesn't know what it is yet. It's
Yes.
the WB, and we know that WB is at the start of Looney Tunes. Who's going to be the mascot? Bugs Bunny? No. Daffy Duck? Definitely not. You don't want him as your... So you end up with Michigan J. Frog, who's just a mascot in his own cartoon.
But here's the thing. In his own cartoon, he's not a mascot. He's the worst thing that ever happened to a man.
That's true.
That's the point of Michigan J. Frog, is what he brings is being incarcerated in a psych hospital.
That is true.
And they've got him out here going, WWWWB.
Yeah, you just gotta watch the Wayans Bros.
Whether you're getting into the cartoon canon for the first time or rewatching some old favorites, this podcast promises nothing. I have no idea if it will be of any value to you, but I am trying so hard. So give Stick to Shorts a listen, because if you don't...
You're despicable.
And then after that break, Bender's watching TV, and is it weird to anyone else that TVs in the year 3000 look like they're still CRT sets?
I don't know.
Like, yeah, they need to make the future look familiar enough to make jokes work, but come on, you make that TV look a little sleeker.
Maybe it's cool to be retro again.
Yeah, see, they're just being retro.
There it is.
We've made a whole revolution. We've gone
We've
so
flipped
high tech
backwards.
that now it's like back to like how vinyl's really big right now.
Well, I mean, there are gamers who love CRT TVs because if you plug a PS2 or a PS1 or any of the older 8-bit systems into a brand new flat screen high def 4K TV, they look like garbage. So they covet CRT TVs. And so, I mean, it's not that unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Futurama's like aesthetic is kind of that retro science fiction. So it kind of leans into that as well.
Yeah.
Professor's inventions never look like they're really from the future.
No, they don't. So they're watching a news story about out-of-work robots spending Xmas at a homeless shelter.
The holiday season is a time of celebration for most, but it is also a time to remember the tragic suffering of the less fortunate.
Earthlings do not yet know the meaning of suffering.
Is there anything sadder? Only drowning puppies, and there would have to be a lot of them.
I love the two newscasters. I must chime in here.
Oh, they're great. Oh, love Morbo. Morbo's always great. Maurice LaMarche will be in here a few times. Well, that inspires Bender to go volunteer at the shelter, which surprises his co-workers, but he insists he's very generous. Remember that time I gave blood? Whose blood? Some guy's. That might be my favorite joke of this episode. Fry decides he's going to go out and get Leela the perfect Xmas present, and the others warn him to be back by sundown or else he'll be killed. And this is when they realize, good Lord, he doesn't know about Santa Claus. And Fry's like, I know about Santa Claus, and gives a little wink because he's a big boy. I felt that, though, because I remember the first Christmas, I knew about Santa Claus. I give my dad's video camera the same little wink, and he whispered something like, "Stop it." Because I had younger siblings. I was like, cut it out. But Fry doesn't know what he doesn't know, so the professor explains he's talking about Robot Santa, who was built in the year 2801, or will have been built in the year 2801. I think that's right. Future perfect tense for a future perfect show. So Robot Santa was built to determine who's been naughty and who's been nice, but a miscalculation in his programming set his standards improbably high for anyone to reach, thereby judging everyone as naughty, and if you're out after dark, he'll kill you. That darn Y3K bug.
Right. And then there's the episode years later with the twisty time travel story that explains how he got set. They switched it to evil.
Oh,
That's a pretty new episode. Yeah.
Is your problem.
There was no frozen yogurt in that episode.
No.
Nope. So I feel like we've seen this trope a bunch of times where, oops, modern technology put everyone in the naughty list. Like one of the Prep and Landings did it. The Santa Claus 2 did it. This is my favorite version of that, though.
Yeah, and the thing I like about it, too, is placing it in time, like you're saying, pun intended, is that it back in 1999 this was a bit of an approach that you didn't see a lot, where Santa was a full-on agent of chaos, like the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So this at least felt somewhat novel at that time.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else like it in like the year 2000.
Yeah.
Now that you bring that up, those other two examples I brought up were after this episode. So yeah, this was very novel at the time.
And it doesn't feel like a problem that needs to be solved. It just kind of, so like in the other ones, it's like, oh no, everybody's been judged naughty. We need to fix it. And so they would go find a way to fix it. This one is Santa's evil, deal with it. Like that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, this is what Xmas is now. And we just have to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's literally a part of the tradition of Xmas is, oh yeah, you gotta hunker down because the sadistic killing robot.
Maybe they did try to fix it in 2802, but we don't know.
Yeah, no, we don't. Just like, you know what? This is Xmas now. So Fry heads out. It's not quite dark yet. He goes to a department store called Alien Overlord and Taylor.
And that's my favorite joke in this episode.
Well done.
They're having a big sale, 3% off.
3% off. Ask the guy behind the counter, there's this girl I like, but she thinks I'm a jerk. Can you help me? And I probably need to play the warning here.
Warning!
Clerk tells him there's a suicide booth in the food court, but the line's long this time of year.
I mean, we do encounter the suicide booth in first episode. So it's always been a little dour.
Yeah, that's how Fry meets Bender. Fry explains, no, I want to get her a gift, and the clerk shows him a Surface to Santa rocket launcher, which comes with 3 jolly-seeking missiles. It's a traditional Xmas gift because the best defense is a good offense. Meanwhile, Bender did go to that homeless robot shelter, but not to volunteer. He just wanted some free booze. If you're new to Futurama, robots run on alcohol, so it's not a soup kitchen, it's our Motherboard of Mercy liquor kitchen. And while we're here, this is the first appearance of what will become a recurring character on the show, despite his Christmas Carol-themed name. It's Tinny Tim.
Yeah. I love Tinny Tim.
Excuse me, sir. Might I have a sip of booze?
I'm sorry, Tinny Tim. Seems we ran out early tonight.
I understand.
Tinny Tim has my favorite bit later in the show, so I'll save that for when it comes up.
Always downtrodden. There's nothing ever goes right for Tinny Tim.
Oh, he's a cute little urchin of a robot with a crutch in place of one of his arms. He's a little more Oliver Twist at the liquor kitchen. But it's Tress MacNeille voicing Tinny Tim. When's the last time we talked about Tress MacNeille? Tiny Toons, I think. But let's check back on Fry, who still hasn't found something for Leela. The last store that's open before nightfall is a pet store. He looks at a few pets, but the one that stood out to me was a one-eared pink rabbit that looks like Matt Groening's Bongo from Life in Hell.
Bongo.
I would have gone for the tiny giraffe, but Fry ends up buying a parrot for $500 instead of 500 stink lizards for $1 each. But it was very close.
I want a T-shirt that says 500 stink lizards or a band. That should be my band name.
500 stink lizards. Girls like swarms of lizards, right? It's a bright orange parrot that only screeches like a surprised cat. And when you need a parrot to screech like a surprised cat, you call Frank Welker.
Yes.
Hey, Frank.
Well, he also, he's always been Nibbler.
He's always been Nibbler. Nibbler shows up later. Bites Fry in the nose, causing Fry to drop the cage, and the parrot flies away. Which brings us back to Planet Express, where Nibbler's just running around to remind us, hey, remember Nibbler? Hermes and the professor are engaging in the timeless Xmas tradition of nude chess.
Yeah, why?
Because it's Christmas.
Oh, because there was the joke earlier about how there is less inhibition in the future.
All right.
And when they're out skiing and Professor's just like, brisk when he takes off his robe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leela comes back into this main lounge to apologize for some reason. Sorry I got sad, y'all. She was upset at Fry for always being so selfish, and Hermes concurs. I ask him to set the table, and he goes out to buy you a present. And Leela realizes, oh no, Fry's still out. He's in danger.
You mean he's still out? His life's in danger.
Why?
I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Which is almost as bad as a setup as when Mickey Rooney did it. But it's funnier when Leela does it. She runs out to find Fry, who's trying to get the parrot back. The parrot has flown to the top of a very tall clock tower, but it's the future, so it's a digital clock tower. This is a great gag.
The Buster Keaton thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
This whole scene was so amazingly well done. Just from an homage standpoint, from an animation standpoint, like that shot where the cage falls and is like spiraling towards the ground is so pretty. Like even like it jumped out. I'm watching it and I'm like, ooh, like that. It just really struck me.
Yeah, that's the sort of 3D, whatever they put into the animation.
Right.
So of course I really liked the bit with him falling off of the tower, holding on to it. Buster Keaton or also potentially Harold Lloyd's silent film Safety Last. Both of them just really cool the way that they did that homage and did it so naturally that unless you're just a super duper film nerd, like you might look at it and just take it at face value. It is in the face value clocks. Haha, funny. I didn't even mean to do that, but no, it's there so that if you appreciate it, it's great. And if you don't, like, there's still like, oh, he's falling off of a clock. This is exciting.
Yeah, it doesn't take you out of the show if you're not being able to place the reference. It still works narratively, but you're right. It pays off in a bigger way for people that know what this is referencing.
Yeah, sure. No, Safety Last is what I thought of, and you know. Happy Back to the Future Day, everyone.
That's two.
Fry ends up hanging off the second digit of the clock tower. It's 4:27 and 2 seconds, and he's hanging from the top of that last 2. And the best part of the joke is, as it switches from 2 to 3 and then to 4, the top piece disappears, causing Fry to fall. He catches onto the middle of the 4, lets out a whew, and continues on for 5, 6, 7, and he falls again. But at that last second, or that 7th second, I guess, he's caught by Leela, who tells him he didn't need to buy her a present, but Fry explains he wanted to make her happy again, and they hold hands until they hear the sinister crunch of a metal sleigh touching down. It is sunset, and Robot Santa has arrived. Performed just delightfully by John Goodman.
You've been very naughty, Fry and Leela. I checked my list.
We'll check it twice.
I perform over 50 megachecks per second. You're both naughty for disregarding each other's feelings.
I totally forgot that John Goodman did the voice originally. That this was something that I had to like pause and go, wait a minute, that's John Goodman? And I think he only does it once.
He only does it for this one. It's John DiMaggio going forward from here and in the next episode we're going to talk about. But
yeah.
Which, by the way, he does a really good, serviceable.
Oh yeah.
Sort of John Goodman.
Yeah, I forgot until I went back and looked at the credits for everything. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hey, yeah.
I did remember that, and I looked it up. So I'm like, how many times has John Goodman played Santa?
Oh.
I looked it up.
Well, he's played Frosty.
Yeah, but so according to IMDb, unless I missed anything,
he hasn't.
What? Oh. So in addition to this, he was Santa in a SpongeBob episode, in a 2006 version of Year Without a Santa Claus.
Yep.
And in a 1998 Rudolph.
Oh, wow. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Which I've been putting off for as long as I possibly can. I'm going to have to get to Frosty Returns sooner than that.
And Joey, is that 2006 Year Without a Santa Claus? Is that awful live action one?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Rudolph one that you're talking about has Bob Newhart, Debbie Reynolds, Whoopi, Richard Simmons,
Eric Idle.
It's so weird. I have to cover it, but not quite yet.
Year Without a Santa Claus, 2006. Here it is.
Yes, it is live action.
Live action with Chris Kattan and Ethan Suplee and
Eddie Griffin?
Michael McKean as the snow miser and Harvey Firestein as the heat miser?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
What?
Why is Chris Kattan there?
I don't know, but John Goodman as Santa and Delta Burke as Mrs. Claus is just no thank you.
I did not mind John Goodman as Santa. I mean
No. John Goodman as Santa's fine.
Yeah.
But John Goodman as Robot Santa is even better.
Yes.
Oh, totally. Nice recovery getting us back.
Thank you.
This is a great design of Robot Santa Claus, I've got to say.
The eyes that turn.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
The fire that's burning in his mouth at all times with the razor teeth.
Yes.
I like the little like screws that are like the buttons on his coat and everything. It's so simple, but it's also just iconic. It's great.
It really is.
Built like a boiler stove.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That makes so much sense. So Robot Santa finds Fry and Leela naughty for disregarding each other's feelings, but they both rebut. We talked it out and made up. We're good. But Santa asks, what about your other coworkers? Did you ever stop to think about Dr. Zoidberg's feelings?
No, I swear.
Yeah, Fry says, no, I swear. And Santa takes out his sack and reveals a laser Tommy gun. It's Robot Santas with filthy souls now.
I think the best part of this is that, like, he says, like, I'm going to reach into my sack, and Fry smiles, like he gets this look of sheer joy on his face. It's like, dude, we've told you a million times he's going to. Fry does not remember any of this.
Classic Fry. Better than the Tommy gun, though, he's got ornament hand grenades.
Yes.
Yeah, those are great.
He also has a tow missile, not a mistletoe, which he fires at Fry and Leela when they find themselves trapped in a corner under some mistletoe. They go in for a kiss, and then Santa fires this thing. But the parrot Fry bought flies in front of the missile like a Randy Johnson fastball.
Oh, yeah, get smoked.
Well, that buys them some time to make a run for it, and they eventually run into Bender, who's out with Tinny Tim and some of the other homeless robots going around Xmas caroling. They invited themselves into some old woman's home, drinking all her hard cider and stealing all her stuff.
On the 4th day of Xmas, I stole from that lady 4 family photos,
3 jars of pennies,
2 farmer husbands, and a slipper on a shoe tree.
So now Robot Santa's chasing after the humans and the robots, tells Bender he's been very naughty. Bender says, no, you're thinking of the kid, pointing to Tinny Tim. And acts so naughty, Santa is also shocked. He has to add it to his list right then and there, so he takes out his scroll and a feather quill and starts slowly writing, framing. I like that futuristic Robot Santa in his rocket-powered sleigh is still sticking with the traditional handwritten list. It's just more festive that way. So everyone else just runs away before he can even notice. And we head back to Planet Express, where I've got to say, this shot of the lights wrapped around the palm tree and arched up to the sides of the room actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, and there's a nice detail on the mantle where you see everyone's stockings hung, and like Bender has one of his robot feet there, his legs.
Yeah, that's the right way to put lights on a palm tree, and take it from me, there's a wrong way.
I have to say, being the sole Canadian on this program right now, if I've ever gone to a place where palm trees and it's hotter and all that, whenever I see them decorated, I understand why you're doing that, but it feels so strangely out of place for me still. So seeing the palm trees with the lights made me feel like, oh, I'm visiting Acapulco at Christmas time right now.
Or you've seen the Corona ad too many times.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
the
exactly
Corona
what I was
ad.
going to say.
But at the same time, if you think about it, like probably if there was a tree and at Christian birth, then it probably would have been a palm tree in the desert.
It very likely would have been.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep. They're exchanging gifts, and we've got a 4-way gift of the Magi joke.
Yes.
This is brilliant.
It gets funnier when you chain them. And even funnier is it's the same gift every time. Because Zoidberg gets Amy a set of combs for her hair, but Amy shaved her head and sold her hair to buy combs for Hermes, who did the same thing to buy a third set of combs for Zoidberg, who's bald anyway, but he says, these'll come in handy for my new hair. And he takes off his Santa hat to reveal half of Amy's hair and half of Hermes' dreadlocks.
I love it so
like
much.
the Zoidberg with
Fluffing
hair.
them both.
Finally, I look as pretty as I feel. Right about here is when Fry, Leela, Bender, and the other robots finally make it back inside, but they're not safe yet. They have to close the chimney with this giant armor-plated cover, which looks like the door to a bank vault. They don't close it in time, and Santa flies down the chimney in the sleigh with his mechanical reindeer. Haven't seen that happen yet.
This annoyed me, and I don't know why. I don't know why watching the two mechanical reindeer bothered me as much as it did. Okay, so the next gag is the one of the reindeer's heads exploding, and they go, "Oh, it's Rudolph." Rudolph says, "Okay, so if that one's Rudolph, who's the other one?"
Actually, neither of them are Rudolph. We find out later their names are Thrasher and Smasher.
Right, they do that in the second one, and so
Right.
that I was okay with that. That I was fine. Santa with two completely different reindeer, Thrasher and Smasher. Okay, great. They're not Demolition, but whatever, fine.
Maybe it's only when he's about to detonate.
Yeah, because they reference him as Rudolph in this
right. Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
The one that's like the nose goes off like a countdown for the bomb.
Yeah.
And so, like, if that one's Rudolph, who's the other one? Like that, and I don't. They just irrational thing that bothered me as I'm watching this.
Here, if you want to be bothered by some mechanical reindeer, go watch the Mexican Santa Claus movie.
I gotta do that. But it's plausible, looking at this particular chimney, that two mechanical reindeer would be able to fit down it. It has to be shut with this giant bank vault cover, so it's the same round shape. And actually, I like the look of the round hearth. It was very steampunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Santa tells everyone they've been very naughty, except you, Dr. Zoidberg, and he gives him a pogo stick.
Hooray!
And Zoidberg spends the rest of the scene bouncing around on the pogo stick.
As one does when they get a pogo stick.
I mean, you're not wrong. As the former owner of a pogo stick, I can attest to that. Santa says, as for everyone else, he's going to tear off their skin like wrapping paper and deck the halls with their guts. I do enjoy a creative threat. Bender tries to tell everyone, I don't believe in Santa Claus. If you don't believe in him, he can't hurt you. And then Santa whacks him upside the head. And he starts rapidly ho-ho-hoing, and Leela says, oh, his belly is shaking like a bowl full of nitroglycerin. He's going to blow them all up as a last resort. But nice old Zoidberg jumps on his pogo stick and uses his claws to clip a strand of the lights, which swings down and shocks Robot Santa. And the others grab the palm tree to knock him back up the chimney, and the robots close it up this time. Santa ends up blowing himself out of the chimney and into the sky, and Xmas is saved. But did y'all notice as everyone was carrying the tree like a battering ram, the professor's feet were off the ground and he's just flailing in the wind? So we cut to the following evening as everyone's gathered for Xmas dinner, which Bender has prepared, and it's the parrot.
Where did you get that bird?
Just shriveled and burnt to a crisp, but still with a handful of orange feathers scattered on the plate, almost like garnish. Fry asks, where'd you get that bird? And Bender tells him, I found it lying in the street, like all the food I cook. Thankfully for everyone else, Nibbler eats the whole thing. Good Nibbler.
But Mike, there's a joke here where Fry goes, at Xmas, food isn't important. And then you hear Tinny Tim in the background go, I'm so hungry.
But he continues, the important thing is we're all together for Xmas. And even though I'm surrounded by robots and monsters and old people, I've never felt more at home. Man, I wish. 3,000 can't get here quickly enough. So we end this episode with everyone singing, Santa Claus is gunning you down.
Oh.
You better not breathe. You better not move.
You're better off dead, I'm telling you, dude.
Santa Claus is gunning you down.
Yeah!
And the professor disrobing again because it's Xmas, dang it.
Inhibition free.
Yes.
So I want to make note of one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so a running gag in both of these episodes has been them taking Christmas songs like Santa Claus is Coming to Town and making them about how he's coming to kill you. The thing is, it's not that different from the actual lyrics, because to me, when I listen to Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the lyrics, all right, the lyrics that they use here is to lock the doors and hit the floor because Santa Claus comes tonight.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is Coming to Town is hang your stockings and say your prayers, which has always come across as a threat to me.
Say your prayers, Toidles.
and then the next verse is jump in bed, cover over your head.
Yeah. And he's always watching you. He's making you're under constant surveillance. He's judging you.
The songs, it starts with you better watch out.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, Santa has always been a menace.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
He's a menace.
I want pictures of Santa Claus.
What? My son,
I want pictures of Santa Claus.
My son asked one Christmas for pictures of Santa Claus. Yeah, he got pictures of Santa Claus from Santa Claus.
So
it was
sweet.
great. Oh, it was great.
That's good.
Mike's son, J. Jonah Westfall.
He keeps them like on the mantle of his bed. They're still there, probably because my kids are terrible at cleaning up after themselves. But I like to think that means something to them. So
That's adorable.
yeah.
Oh, your kids are so cool.
But we pan out into the snowy skies above New York, where we get a rare closing credits scene.
I'll be back when you least expect it. Next Xmas!
So let's talk about next Xmas, unless y'all have any final thoughts about this first episode.
No, it's we covered it very, very much so. It's such a great episode.
All right, well, we will all be back in a couple days to talk about next Xmas in A Tale of Two Santas and his friend Jesus. Hope you all join us again. You can find links to where you can find us in the show notes and on the website at adventcalendar.house. Until next time, for Michael D. Giovanni, Aaron Evans, Joey O, and Donnie Storms, from the ledge of a giant digital clock tower that'll drop me to my doom in a matter of seconds, this is Mike Westfall reminding you to mind the icy pen! Next time on the Advent Calendar House.
Gee whiz, Santa. You want me to help you?
Don't do it! He's evil!
I know he is, but I have no choice.